Thus, A's position implies chimpanzees could have more moral value than some one-year-old humans. Similarly, valuing human biological structures solely for producing consciousness fails because some non-human animals with their own biological structures achieve greater consciousness than some one-year-old humans ever will. Ultimately, for Dean and Parker to affirm the two statements I mentioned earlier, they would have to take the view that what makes humans morally valuable is their humanity, which exists from fertilization and therefore would require a pro-life position. Some of you may still question if they would affirm both statements, but I think they implicitly acknowledge they would when I ask them this.
So let's try this then. So same scenario I mentioned earlier where you can either save those 10 pigs or the one newborn human, but you know that one newborn human has some sort of birth defect where they're actually guaranteed to die at about 2 years old. So you can't really appeal to them having a future conscious experience that exceeds that of a pig, since consciousness is more of a spectrum than a dividing line. It's something that increases over time, increases with development. Which would you choose then, knowing that that newborn human being isn't going to develop past age 2? It'll die at age 2.
I don't see why this would be an entailment. We would still say the human. I'd still rather save the human.
Now that I've covered why I think their position fails, I want to highlight some things I could have done better in the conversation I had with them about abortion. Number 1, I should have asked for clarification on how the conversation was going to proceed when I first joined the live. Number 2, when I was asked the hypothetical about being in a situation where I had to push a button that would kill either 10 human embryos, push a different button that would kill one newborn human being, or push no button and they all are killed, I should have asked them if I could reframe the question to the situation of a burning building where I can only save the 10 embryos or the one newborn in order to prevent the conversation from potentially raising an additional number of ethical questions, such as the doctrine of double effect, consequentialism, or just war theory. This would have allowed them to see that I value human embryos equally to newborn human beings, without potentially introducing additional ethical questions that could have derailed the conversation, although in this case, that didn't occur. I then should have asked them to consider how racists in the South in the 1800s would have answered a similar question were they given the choice between saving 10 black humans and one white human. This would have exposed that Dean and Parker are prejudiced against a class of human beings, in this case, humans prior to 20 to 24 weeks of development, similar to how the racists of the early 1800s were prejudiced against another class of human beings. In that case, it was black people. Number 3, when asked about whether I would value humans who evolved to not have sentience beyond that of a cow, I answered that it is not possible for that to be the case from within the Christian worldview, given it assumes macroevolution. I'd like to add that even professing Christians who believe in macroevolution would have to acknowledge that humans could not have evolved in a way as to never become sentient beyond that of a cow, given that Adam was the first human being and he was sentient beyond the level of a cow's sentience. Therefore, from within the Christian worldview, it is not possible for humans to have never been sentient beyond the level of a cow as a species.